Hi, welcome back to Upfront Fridays. I'm your host, Amy Barrett, and with me is author Linda Hughes. Thank you so much for coming today, Linda. You came all the way up from way down south.
I did,
So,
yes.
woo, you made it.
I know, made it this much time.
But you are a Michigander through
yes,
and through.
I am.
So, despite what your accent might tell me.
I know, I try when I come back here to get rid of the southern accent, but I've been in the South now for 30 years, long time.
It's hard to shake it.
As long as I was here, well, longer actually, because my 70th birthday is coming up.
Oh.
I know.
Well, awesome.
Saturday.
Wonderful.
I
oh
know.
My gosh.
So I'm
well,
celebrating here in Michigan. Came home. Michigan will always be home to me.
Well, happy birthday and
Thank
many
you.
happy returns of the day.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks.
So did you come into being an author then later in life, or did you start out
Well, when I was 12 years old, I wrote in my diary that I was going to be a writer when I grew up. I spelled it wrong.
Right.
but I had the notion that that was what I wanted to do. And I actually wrote, this is kind of cute, that I wanted to be an actress, but they didn't seem like very happy people, so I'd be a writer. I didn't know yet about all the writers that have committed suicide. Because you're alone and depressed and all the time.
Right.
And can be driven to drink. I haven't yet, but anyway, I knew a long time ago that's what I wanted to do. I was encouraged by teachers in high school and college to keep writing. So of course I got a degree in sociology.
Oh, okay. Yes, you do.
And had other careers for many years, 2 other major careers, and wrote along the way, but finally I'm able to spend full-time writing. Love it. Love it, love it.
Tell us about where do you write, how do you write?
I write at home with my dogs. The dogs help a great deal. I can read things out loud and they let me know whether or not the passage is any good, if they like the wordage. But I write alone. I write on a schedule. I'm not one of those people who can allow myself to do it when I'm in the mood, because I'm always in the mood to do nothing.
Right.
And so I have to think of it as a career, and I take it very seriously, but I enjoy it. I love it. So it isn't hard work.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So I've read of your new book. I've read the first 3 chapters.
Okay.
I'm already so ready for what's coming. Like I
Good.
don't know what's coming yet, but I'm so
Good.
ready.
Yeah.
Because it's very engaging. You're a very gripping writer. I can tell the editing is superb. Sometimes you see
Thank
books and
you.
you're like, especially anymore, you see books that have like a self-published feel, and it's like, ugh,
I have a
can't you
wonderful
just get-
publisher.
Yeah.
They really are great. And my sister, who lives in Grand Rapids, is also an editor.
Oh,
So it works out great.
man, this it just rides in the family.
Yeah.
How lucky are you?
I know. But I'm so glad that you've enjoyed it so far.
I'm so gripped. I'm ready for
Just
this
wait,
thing to
you won't believe
oh
what
my
happens.
goodness. So don't spoil it for anybody.
I won't,
But
I won't.
this is your second book,
Correct.
and your first book, Secrets of the Asylum, which
In
is about our very own
Traverse City.
Traverse City State Hospital.
Yes.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about that? What I want for our viewers is that they're going to go pick up this book as soon as they're done hearing this interview. So tell us about the book.
That's great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's the plan.
Well, the Secrets of the Asylum, first of all, I've been coming to Traverse City my whole life and have family here. And my aunt was in Cottage 23 when it's assisted living. And I would go visit her in her room in that cottage and just imagine what it was like
Yeah.
years ago when
Right.
it really was an asylum. And so then my sister and I took a tour of the asylum one day, and oh my goodness, the stories just reek out of the walls. You can just picture what had to have gone on, good and bad, because
Right.
times changed and the way they treated people changed over time. And so I did a lot of research. I used my imagination in putting characters in what was real in 1921.
Oh.
And so I really enjoyed putting all this together. And it's a 21-year-old woman who's old enough now to try to figure out why her mother's been in the asylum for 15 years.
Wow.
And so it's really a mystery, and there's all kinds of mayhem and murder and all kinds of things going on.
Ooh.
But it's a mystery that she finally is able to unravel. So it was, I loved it.
So it's got some mystery, it's got some suspense, it's got a real historical setting.
It does have the historical setting. It was amazing studying at and looking at everything that I could find that talked about what had gone on there, and I actually found the memoirs were the most useful.
Yeah.
That there was all of the official historic stuff, but then the memoirs of people who had been there or were raised there were most telling. And there were people who were only there because they had no place else to go.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you know the story and know all about it, but there were also people there who really needed to be there.
Yeah.
And so I just had a great time figuring all that out.
So your characters, do they really need to be there?
One really needs to be there badly, but she's the one you would suspect the least.
Oh.
And I think that happens, though. People who are really sociopaths can pull it off as though they're normal. So, yeah, she's quite a character.
That's intriguing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So this is 20 years later. So that's Secrets of the Asylum happens in 1921, right?
Right.
And then 20 years later, you come to Secrets of the Island.
1943. I thought it was going to be 20 years later, but I got her pregnant at the wrong time here to have a daughter.
Oh, okay. So just about.
Yeah.
In the ballpark.
Right, in the ballpark. And so this is during World War II, and it's the same family. I follow the same
Oh, neat.
people.
People
So it's,
love that. Readers love doing that. You know, Ken Follett style, where they're following generations. Yeah.
I know, I love doing it too. And I found out in my research in Traverse City in general, I found out that during this time they said there had been an influx of Irish families. Well, there were only 6,000 people in the whole town, so an influx might have been 50 people, who knows?
Right.
But this is an Irish family, been here a long time, but carries on here. And here the family also has a cottage on Mackinac Island. So in Secrets of the Island, the girl from here who's 21 years old, baby here, born here, 21 years old here, she sequesters herself on the island. She's got things going on in her life and she wants to hide away. And so she goes to the family cottage, but finds out all kinds of things that weren't even revealed yet here. More about this family.
Oh, wow.
So I love the family history.
Yeah.
And I think that's true of all of us. I think if most of us had the ability to look back in our families, we'd all find somebody who needed to be in the asylum. Somebody who committed murder somewhere along the way, somebody who did things they shouldn't have been doing,
Sure.
as well as some really good people. And I'm very spiritual. I honestly believe that the spirits of our ancestors guide us and support us and protect us, and we need to pay attention to that. So that's why family stories are important to me. And then there's the third one, of course, coming up next year.
Okay. And you have a title for that already?
Yes, Secrets of Summer.
Secrets of Summer.
And that one takes place, the same family, another daughter, 21 years old, and she is in my hometown of West Branch, Michigan. Have you ever heard of West Branch?
Yes.
You ever been there?
I don't know if I've ever been there.
People always say they've driven by.
Yeah,
they see the
I-
sign
yeah.
on the expressway. Beautiful little town. Wonderful little hometown.
Your hometown.
Yes, my
Right.
hometown.
Which is really fun. And you told me off camera that she's being punished by being sent to West Branch.
Yeah.
So does that tell us what you think about West Branch? Or is that
Well, I thought it was kind of funny,
Yeah.
just because it's a very small town.
Yeah.
And she's used to Traverse City, and not that it's a huge city, but it's certainly got more. West Branch, I think, has 2,000 people or less, and always has.
Right.
And so the family owns a lot of businesses in different places, and they own a business there. And so for punishment, because she refuses to behave, and she got kicked out of Michigan State. So
Whoops.
they're sending her to work in this small town, and more mayhem occurs. So
How deep are you into that book, into writing it?
I have it outlined. I outline my work.
Oh, okay.
I'm not one of
Interesting.
those writers who can just write off the cuff. I have to outline, and my story often changes as I go along, especially the ending changes
Oh,
sometimes.
sure.
The ending in the new one shocked me out, shocked nicely.
Oh.
I was surprised. It just popped up out of nowhere,
Oh,
and I
beautiful.
loved it. I was really surprised. But if I don't have that outline, I don't seem to get much of anywhere.
Oh,
So
good to know.
I start with that.
So this family
Yes.
has a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
Are these all things that you've heard about? Are you divining other people's family secrets and sort of throwing them into your book? Are you making it all up? How do you find these stories?
No, it's amazing. You don't have to make this stuff up. I was a college professor for 16 years, and I had an ancestry quest assignment, that's what I called it, for my students. and I would have them go talk to family elders. And if they didn't have family elders, that they could talk to other people that came from the same generation as their family elders would have been. And I couldn't believe how often they would come back and say, they told me this story about my family that I never knew. When we're children, they don't tell us, and they shouldn't. But once we grow up, if we start asking questions, we learn all kinds of things. I had students learn things that make these books look pale.
Really?
I had a student learn that her great-grandmother had been a prostitute for the Nazis in Germany, and it was the only way she could keep her 6 children alive.
Whoa.
I had a student who learned that she was a test tube baby. She'd never known that.
Whoops.
Lots of students learned that there'd been family money at one time, but somebody lost it, or that somebody was committed. In our family, we learned that Aunt Mary and Uncle Don weren't really married because Uncle Don was already married to Aunt Mary's sister, who was in an asylum.
Ooh.
Who knew?
Ooh.
I know. So
That's
this stuff it really happens in families.
oh.
And that's why it's fascinating to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's probably why there's so much richness and depth in these characters. In the opening of Secrets of the Island, we meet May, who has 10 children, and she's learning about the fate of some of her children who have
Yeah.
gone off to war.
Yeah.
And it's
She
all
had
very
plans in
heartbreaking.
her head that, of course, that didn't work out.
Right. But so good. But you feel like what May experiences. I was like, oh, that's how I would feel. Your characters are very believable. They're very gripping, and I want to hang out with May. Like, I want her to make me some cookies. I
Amy,
want us to
thank
sit
you
down
so
and have a
much.
conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So
That's great.
They're wonderful characters, and I'm really excited about the next chapter.
Good.
I can't wait to get home and read more.
Aw,
So see
thank
you.
you.
Find her in Traverse City. Find her on Mackinac Island.
you,
Thank you
sweetie.
so much
You're
for
a doll.
coming on, Linda.
Thanks.